So we're going to start the recording now. No maps today, no combat today, and I haven't finished designing the cityscape yet, so it's taking a while. Actually, the only map that I've done recently is the next location for your party that you're going to be loading to. So I actually don't know if we're going to get a map for DragonSpark. Depends on how long we stay here. Okay. So, let's hit start. Fantastic. Welcome back, guys. Hello. How's everybody been? Good to meet at the table. Ready to play some D&D to steal a popular catchphrase? So, last we left off, we had a wonderful interaction with Needle. You went back to your hometown, or rather you went back to the person that raised you from your hometown in a new location. Vinny, would you like to give a little recap of your experience of last week's session? It's becoming a small tradition now to hear Stan's version, then the truth.
Well, we liberated some items from the scenario and killed them with that weapons. So I opened them all, became a cloud, ran on that jet. We started flying, we flew above the clouds. I was dying. Not as bad as other people. But I was on like 4 health, so pretty bad.
Yes.
So I had to curl up into a ball for warmth, and you do. Nothing happened when I was curled up into a ball of warmth. Then we landed.
Which is a true fact, but a weird thing to say.
True but something could have been happening behind my back, and Stan would never know. Yes.
Legasp.
Then we landed, and there was this orc person who came on the boat. The captain ran away like the baby he is.
How dare you!
Stan was shoved to deal with the orc lady, and then promptly told.
This is fantastic because it was definitely a man, but continue.
The orc lady. No,
I'm 90% sure I described him as a gruff man.
No.
This dainty lady. Alright, lads. The traditional orc female. Alright, lads.
Right, let Stan be delusional.
I like to think that Stan is not only pansexual but non-sexual, so doesn't see gender really, is just kind of guessing
Really
from person to person.
It's rude to
Like, has never cared less, so just guesses. Picks one at random for each individual.
I mean, what's gonna happen? Someone fights Stan and thinks, I'm gonna settle down with that person.
That's very true.
No one would want that.
Oh, thanks. So Stan was shoved in front of this orc person. That's good math.
Spoken like every Trump supporter ever.
We're like politically correct
That
nice.
person, if you even are alive,
Entity.
was essentially told, don't be a dickhead on the island. You can be, but don't get caught. It's really foggy, so we make our way to this nice temple with spiders, people on the walls. Spider-Man.
Statues.
Spider people.
Of statues.
Spider people of statues?
So we
Statues of spider people.
Then we
It's
walk
funny
inside.
just think they're real though.
I mean, what? They need security.
Stands outside like, those people don't even move. What phenomenal guards.
It's trained so well.
No play.
The self-control is unbelievable. I must attain this level. My monk training demands it. You just catch Stan in the garden painted grey. Like one of those geckos on a wall.
Yeah.
You turn on the lights and Stan's just like...
I'm not even up against one, it's in the middle. Midway through walking.
So you find the Temple of Lolth, where you're introduced to Father
Haha.
Papa. Father Papa! Needle for the first time ever becomes a high elf randomly.
Papa.
Father Papa! It's been a while! My goodness, Father Papa, you've aged fantastically.
Journey, Papa.
Yes, Needle goes from grungy assassin to, like, Victorian era popper boy. Please, sir, can I have some more?
I killed 10,000 men, Papa! Are you finally proud? No! What disappointment!
I killed 40,000.
I'm not even feeling to a continual disappointment at my trial.
So you meet Father Antioch, which I was trying to see if anyone remembered their name,
No.
rather than Father Papa. You meet Father Antioch, who is the person who raised Needle back in the orphanages of their hometown in the Underdark. Needle is finally revealed to be not necessarily an active worshipper of Lolth, but definitely having been raised in that environment and conflicted, maybe, a little bit about their allegiances, but not so much that they don't come in and have a wonderful time in their hometown. Meanwhile, internally, Brochan and Soren are dying a little bit. They are exhausted, they are damaged, and they are walking into an incredibly dangerous location that's behaving very friendly. Conflicted though they may be, they sit and have tea. They ask for their help of the church to get the location of their new allies, or rather old allies that are coming back into the picture. Soren finding out the location of their wood elf companion Oscar, who is someone from their hometown, and Needle finally getting a little bit closer to Father Antioch as an adult, in that way of knowing older people when you were a kid and then finding out that they are evil serial killers. A situation I'm sure we're all familiar with.
Classic.
Classic trope of my old teacher as a serial killer now. Yeah, there's definitely some math teachers I've had that were actually moonlighting as, yeah, I can see it. Father Antioch discusses some problems that they're having in the parish with some people who are possibly traitorous. Some people that are trying to work with the forces of good to overthrow the evil church, which is, as we all know, a bad thing for evil churches. They don't want good paladins.
Disgusting behaviour on the paladin side.
Exactly, and then Stan taking the side immediately that we should eradicate good from the world.
And not good, just those particular paladins.
Just those in particular. And the rather disturbing reality that perhaps there's paladins of Bahamut in the area, which are paladins that stand for all things good and justice in the world.
Oh no.
Horrible news for parishioners of the Lol Church. And Dragonborns, especially of the chromatic nature.
We've turned into a news reading.
We have. And this week in the news. Yeah, so we join as you guys are having a short rest, having tea. I think we were choosing to stay here the night and then find your companions in the morning. So everyone successfully has a long rest, unless there's anything else that you would like to do tonight.
Barricade the door.
Are you all? So this is a huge thing. This is a public domain area, so there are cots and things like that for the local area that can come, and if you are in trouble, this is a safe house, safe haven for Lolth worshippers. So there are communal rooms, as well as Needle. You are given one of the nicer rooms, so you can all share Needle's room if you would like. As sort of an old friend, you are given a little bit more luxury than an average person would be.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you would like to discuss tonight, or are we happy to skip to the morning? Wonderful. You just go to your... There should be a little character section. Let me bring up. So there should be... If you hit your hit points... no, sorry, it's not hit points.
22.
We were both on death's door.
Go to manage next to your name, sorry.
Oh, here.
Yeah. Oh, you're different. You're fully different from me.
What's your con?
Can I get your iPad over for a wee
You have a
second?
+1 to con, I have a +2. They're keeping that in different classes have more or less.
This is usually-
So I'm on,
Technical difficulties brought to you by D&D.
to be fair, at level 1, I think he was had what 9, 10 more health and 7 health.
Oh no.
It's a good thing why I found like
See, next to your character profile, there's a little campfire icon.
Oh yeah.
you're -1.
Yeah.
I have -2.
Yeah, sorry, I'm only used to using the PC laptop version.
A level of exhaustion.
Yes, so as you take your one long rest, you have a level of exhaustion recovered automatically. And also, there is a system that I use in my D&D where you can roll a Constitution save and recover 2 if you pass. If you beat 10, you recover your regular amount as normal. And then if you beat it by 5 or more, for every 5 above, you recover that many points of exhaustion. So if you roll 25 on a con check, you can reduce 3 levels of exhaustion.
Okay.
That make sense?
Imagine having exhaustion wouldn't be that embarrassing.
I can't remember if I still have them still.
You don't, I believe. I think you 2 had 2 levels of exhaustion, rested before the funeral, got it all fixed, and then you 2 gained 2 levels of exhaustion.
Yep.
I think we literally went from this side of the table to that side of the table on exhaustion.
Yeah.
I rolled a 10.
10. So you just recover the normal one.
You love that we're referring to you two on this side of the table as if.
It's a yes.
Weird.
We could address it, but
It's funnier if we don't.
Listen, Mochi.
listen,
now
we had
Rocky.
we had one cat person, and now we have one cat.
Exactly. He's recovering his exhaustion.
Yes, he's a good boy.
He's a big. Little Evie.
Wonderful.
Really.
So you guys successfully have a long rest. I will reveal another mechanic that I think even Vinny didn't know. If you are sleeping in someone who you trust in somewhere that is safe in certain locations, you do not need to roll for your long rest.
Yes.
So because Father Antioch and because the Lolth Temple is so formidable a location, there is nothing that will fuck with you here, so why would we need to roll?
So don't fuck up. I'll really
Yeah.
use it.
Don't fuck it up.
Not necessarily, because you
Open
don't...
the window in my sleep. Oh.
Well, there is the other thing of you have other allies here. Oscar could be in a location that you don't know where they are, but they might have somewhere safe. They might have a safe house. But the Lolth Temple specifically is a location that is dangerous enough that anyone that would try to fuck with you here is probably already going to do so and would be a random chance encounter.
This place is dangerous. Nice.
Locations can be nice and dangerous. Local government buildings can be heavily policed. It doesn't make them necessarily terrible. Yeah,
Sure,
you don't, that's probably the reason you don't recover your 2 points of exhaustion, is that you lay awake all night hearing screams.
That is just finally.
When I was like sleeping sounding swords, just like staring dead-eyed at the ceiling.
Yeah, pretty much. As you're waking, Brochan, very lovely, or Brocken I should say, very lovely person that they are, volunteers to do all of the housework for the day.
Whoa.
Because you were told that you could only stay in the rooms, you could either pay for them or you could do work around the house, and they volunteer their time to do work all day, cleaning and cooking and doing stuff in the kitchens. A very productive child, a very good child. She will not be nearly as useful as they want her to be, but she'll be useful.
Yes.
As a child, her food is going to be mostly eggs and toast,
I like
Delightful.
because that's what all kids learn how to cook first. Toast and then microwave some eggs. So, you guys wake up, you guys have breakfast. It's a lovely breakfast, you don't need to pay for it, everything's all sorted, you get a proper meal. There is shell in the eggs. There's also an ungodly amount of cat fur in all of these eggs. It's nice food, but also, so much cat food.
I love the crunch of it.
Half an hour later, you see Brochan, and they're like full netting. Like, instead of wearing a hairnet, they're just in fishnets, like all full body. And they do not look happy.
Fishnet the boy.
Yes. So you guys have your breakfast. Is there anything you would like to discuss? If not, there is a location that you've been given for both Sadie and for both Oscar. Although you probably don't want to go to Sadie's. without your ally Brocken.
I think we should just go and do all of that stuff without her here.
Yes.
She'll be
Go make
thrilled.
an enemy of them.
You all rock up. Hey, we know your friend. Fuck you. Sadie's like, what? What's going on? I don't understand.
Roll one.
Brocken says we hate you now. Yeah, so you guys know where Oscar is being kept. I say being kept.
Yeah. Like in the building. You thought you heard a recognizable scream laugh. You actually heard.
It was a trap. Do you want to do things here before we go and see my friend? Perhaps. I don't know where the guy is. Funky guy.
Well, that is the other thing, is that you've been told about Father Maynard, who is inside the building. So you guys could have a chat with him first if you wanted to.
I think it's probably safer if we know he's here now to have a chat with him. Wow.
Yeah, have a chat.
Have a chat. Do some
Nice chat.
friendly discussion.
Slight stuff.
Discourse. We're eating. We just have a look around and see who is around. Like what kinds of people. Is it all just drow?
Pretty much, yeah. And in the Loth Temple specifically, there's a lot more drow than in your average place. It's a little bit. There's mostly drow, but there is also some of the deep gnomes, and there is also some deep dwarfs. So there are a couple different things going around. You would know that it's unusual to see the deep dwarfs and the deep gnomes in the same location, because usually the dwarfs enslave the gnomes. Just as a general rule of thumb.
Oh no!
And Stan, you would also know that deep gnomes are some of the types of gnomes responsible for rooting through caves.
Delightful!
Oh no! There's not any dragonborn or anyone around. Just
Inside the Loth Temple, very little from that's not Underdark. The Loth is a huge presence in the Underdark, in the same way that, like, on the surface world, like Lythander, the Sun God, is a huge presence because the sun obviously provides a lot of just general light and overview. In the Underdark, Loth created the Drow, and that is the Drow run the Underdark. Whether anyone would like to argue with that is up for debate, but they definitely, there's not really a debate that doesn't resolve in the Drow killing whoever was on the other side of that debate.
there.
So they're very much in charge.
Do you know where your guy is?
You do know he's in the building.
Wasn't he supposed to be on some sort of kitchen debate at some point today?
Yeah. What?
Who would have thought?
How concerning.
I was gonna say, I thought about that after the shells, and I was like, oh, the shells in these. Rocket cooked up.
Yeah. Poisoned eggs.
Poisoned eggs.
What a terrible DM. You guys sit down for breakfast. Little did they know. You fools. You've fallen right into my trap that I didn't give you the option.
Rolls in there.
So yes, there's Father Maynard. I'm gonna have to keep them straight. Antioch's the good guy, in huge quotations. Maynard is the betrayer who is gonna run off and tell on them, basically.
You don't have nothing in common with whatsoever.
So, you do know where he is. You know that he's in the building, and you've been told that it is some form of kitchen duty, whether that is sort of washing dishes or cooking, or not like waitering, but like giving food to people, dishing stuff out. You don't know. You do know that he's a drow, and you know from experience that the people who are high enough up in the church to be called father are usually wearing robes of decent standing, rather than just like the generic robes. They'll have something on them that's nicer, maybe a little bit of silk or something like that, just a material that's nicer as a quality improvement thing.
Is his title a brother or father?
So his title's father, but Father Antioch was calling him brother because they're sort of one big family type thing. So it's more. You would probably refer to them as father because they're in a much higher. You're not actually in the church structure. So in the same way that like priesthoods would call each other brother and sister of like nuns and priests, like you would probably not call them that unless you were either close friends and they were expecting it from you, or like of a similar standing.
Let's get that $7 to go. Hello, nephew.
Oh, son.
Hello, son.
Hi, Dad.
Alright, Dad.
Oh, child.
You right, Dad?
Alright, pal. How you time's gone?
Yeah.
Hey.
In canon, all Dragonborn are Glaswegian. Alright, mate. How you times? They're nasally because if they speak with their full mouth, the like acid or the fire or the ice comes out. So that's how they cut off their breath to talk. They're very nasally.
And I hate me.
Oh no.
So, what's going on? Are we going to talk to Maynard, or we want to hop off to Oscar?
I think I might as well talk to Maynard. Okay. Now, you can find him while we're here. That's like backup because we don't know if we're staying here tonight. So, I guess like I'd ask around and see if anyone knows where he is.
Yeah, it doesn't take very long for you to ask a couple people. You speak to a couple of the other drow that are wandering around in sort of the plain black robes, and they just immediately point you to that he's doing kitchen duty and that he's actually washing dishes today.
Oh my god, keeping solidarity.
Well, as members of a priesthood, they kind of don't really care what service they do for their god. There is no task too low or too high. So they're more than happy to do all of the regular stuff.
You, it's a thriving society.
Disgusting.
It would seem to be. So you want to hop over and speak to the kitchen porters?
Alright, I'll go do that.
Wonderful. As you approach, you can see that there is quite a tall looking drow. They've got the classic drow features of the darker purple skin. They've got completely shaved head, and they've got tattoos running all across from the tip of their nose all the way back to their skull of just like various like tessellating triangles sort of going out in a isometric pattern to make sure that it's nice and random but in a really nice looking design. And it's in like white silver to contrast with their dark purple skin. And you can see that in it there are like webbing and spider webbing and things like that all the way through the tattoos.
That's so cool.
You can see that he's also got like a goatee in like a classic sort of pointed wizardy way, which is a bit odd to see from a cleric. But he does kind of have that odd vibe of with the robes and with the tattoos of definitely a Lord worshipper. And he looks over to you and you can see that one of his eyes is false. You can see that it's a glass eye.
I guess I would just like go up to him, try to get his attention.
He notices you pretty easily, and as soon as he sees you, he sort of dries his hands off on his wee apron that he's wearing, and goes over, bows a little bit to show a little bit of respect to you, and goes, "I presume, Needle, I was informed that there was going to be someone else new coming today."
Yeah.
"I met your friend," and he points to Brochan, who is like scrubbing the floor, but sort of creating more mess as they're going along. And he's like,
He's trying his best.
yeah. Priesthoods typically they take volunteer work, but
At what cost?
I am Father Maynard.
It's nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you too. I've heard so much about you.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about you as well.
Wonderful. It's nice to know. Anything good?
That's actually kind of what I wanted to talk to you about. Because I had some questions about something.
Perfect. Is that something that you want to discuss publicly, or would you like to go somewhere private?
Definitely privately.
Perfect. And then he walks off, expecting you to follow. Do all of you follow?
That's a question. And I know what here.
Can
Yeah. Yes.
I'm just gonna look at it.
Roll a stealth check.
I'll just look at him
I
and be
will
like,
roll that thing.
He doesn't mind. He doesn't know what you want to talk about, so he's...
It's stealth like 30. That's a nat 1. No, that's 29. It's a 19, but it's on screen. It's between a nat 1 and a 19. But it's a 29 apparently.
No, that's not a nat 1, that's a 10.
No, I have a plus 10.
You have a plus 10 to stealth?
Yeah.
Cool.
sorry.
Yeah, 29. Absolutely, you're immediately blend into the shadows. You're doing that classic thing of like, there's a shadow, and then there's a pillar, and then there's a shadow, and then there's a pillar, and you're like dashing from one to the other.
A black war.
Yes, basically. And yeah, absolutely.
I'm not.
You can not go with them if you want. You can stay in the kitchen with Brochan.
I'm
You're leaving.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
going to exit through the front door. So as you guys follow Brother
yeah. I don't
Maynard, Father Maynard, so you don't want them to notice. Roll a stealth check.
I don't think I'm going to do well enough. 18.
What's your passive perceptions? I don't think either of you have a +8 on wisdom, do you?
13. That means
So
that
see,
you've already banished
there
my
you've got
intent.
passives, a little off, and their passive perception, 14. Yep, so absolutely, you immediately slink off. You guys don't notice for quite some time. I'll let you know when you finally notice that there is no Soren with you. But we're going to run your encounter first. So, he leads you off to a private little chamber. It's a fairly plain looking room. It looks as if this is his quarters. There is nothing on the walls, nothing on the floor. It's just a stone bed built into the location with some thin blankets and like a straw stuffed pillow. How can I help?
Okay, so when I arrived, I heard, I was just kind of asking about what had been going on, right? And I heard quite a lot of rumors about you, potentially, they didn't have good things to say.
Okay,
And
that's concerning.
yeah, so I was wondering if it's true that you, have been having doubts about the church.
At this point, can start fade and go, you're the shit, it's fine.
Sure, you can absolutely do that. Roll another stealth check to see if you slink away.
I believe
So mean.
that's a 16 on that one.
On a nat 1.
No, that's a 16
Right.
on that one. I rolled a 6.
Unfortunately, he has a much higher passive perception than 16. So he-
can see Stan actually doing.
He sees you go, you're the shittest spy ever, and then watches you sort of crouch in the corner.
To be fair, that could probably help the situation.
Yeah.
You're a dragon.
Yeah, and just gonna be up against the wall.
Yeah. So, reacting to what you're saying, and kind of choosing to ignore but knows where you are, I see. Would you mind sharing names of who is accusing me of doubt? I must admit that this is something that I have heard before. It's a rumour that I wish to be stamped out. I feel that I have taken the steps in my life to devote myself to the goddess, and she knows what I've been doing, and I feel like that's enough.
It's just, it was, the,
Father Antioch.
one of the main ones I can say is Father Antioch, who he was expressing concerns about it, but I, having been gone for quite a while now, I was more concerned about you than any anger about it.
Perfect. I'm going to ask you to roll a check for me. Well, I'm going to tell you the context.
Turn it down sympathetic.
They are wanting to roll an insight check on you because they want to know what your vibe is. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to roll either persuasion or deception, and don't tell me which one. If I succeed the check, if I beat your number, tell me which one, and if not, I'm going to have to trust fate.
Oh. Does it affect anything?
It'll affect if they view you as lying. So it'll affect if they trust you. So what I'm saying is, do you genuinely believe that if you genuinely believe that you're trying to be helpful to this person,
Yep.
roll persuasion. And if you genuinely don't believe that you're trying to be helpful and you're trying to get them to do a false confession or some sort of trap for them, it'll be a deception roll. And don't tell me which one unless I pass. Seconds. D&D Beyond likes to load.
This thing we're going really badly. No, not very badly.
No, it's alright, Stan's got it.
He rolled a 27.
I got a 12.
So were you lying, or do you want to trap him?
Tell me the truth.
So you're genuinely coming at this from a place of
Testing
understanding.
the waters to see
Yeah.
if he would hate me, also having doubts kind of vibes.
He eyes you up for a long time. Maybe a minute goes by in silence as he just looks at you. And you feel the mood change a little. I have never had doubts that the goddess is real. The things that give me concern are the balance of power in the world. The Underdark is a very rigid place, and the surface is quite flexible. Would our ways work in the rapid expansion without diluting power? Is a concern that I have expressed multiple times. I also express concern that in an environment where we are powerful and unopposed, we are safe and strong. However, we Drow do not perform well in the sunlight. We do not perform well in open spaces. And with the vast oppositions and many different targets that could be on us, I have expressed that perhaps the expansion should be put on hold until stronger leadership is in place.
I think that's understandable.
To that end, there are people in this city that are demonstrating my fact for me. There are people here who are worshippers of good gods and bad gods. However, the good gods outnumber the bad on the surface vastly more than in the Underdark. The people on the surface want hope, want light, and we have always thrived in the dark. So this is concerning to me. I hope that answers your questions.
It does. I would say I agree, but I wanted to know that it was safe to agree. Because you know how it is here. You've seen the statues outside.
I have.
And saying anything that opposes the expansion is, I would say, dangerous, especially to me.
I would agree. Although I'm not sure why you in specific would be.
I've been on the surface long enough, I feel at this point, that while the father, he likes me, I
A
don't-
lot.
a lot. I don't know a lot of the people here, at least in this church. It's all quite new.
Mhm.
But it's good to know that it's not all just one thing.
I think this location is different enough from the rest of the surface that we might be able to get a strong foothold here. And I'm not opposed to a strong foothold. But the rest of the world might not be ready.
On the surface so far, it's a lot of people seem to not like me very much, and
Well, we have tried expansions before, and it has gone horrendously wrong.
yeah, I'm beginning to realize that.
Are you old enough to remember the last attempt?
I don't think so. No.
What age are you again? Like mid-20s?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're nowhere near. The last one was about a century ago. You've heard about it. You heard about it in the last city you were in, where they took over and enslaved the local population. But there was an uprising, and there was a pretty vicious uprising in their location. Back to Father main arc. There was a lot going on the last time that we uprose, and if you remember our teachings, our mother was beset upon by certain entities in the past. She has had lovers in the past who have betrayed her, and she has also had, specifically, Orlea, who is... So roll me a history check to see if either of you recognise the name. You can do it with advantage, Needle, because...
I'm so smart. Not 20, I am so smart.
You are.
Is that doing it twice?
Yeah, doing it twice, taking the higher.
17.
17. So you both know the name Corellian. It would be really hard for you not to know. Corellian is the god of the elves that banished Lolth to the Underdark. The one that was specifically, you are an evil god, don't come back to the surface. Corellian. Let me just bring up the spelling. I don't want to give you the wrong one.
Orlea.
Corellon. Corellon. Vinny, you would know, or sorry, Stan, you would know. You would actually know Corellian for a couple different names. His main title, and the one that the elves will give him, is Father of the Elven Kind, First of the Seldarine, which is the first ever Fey entity, Fey ruler, Fey lord to come together, and he essentially created the elves in his own image and is very much the, like, quote-unquote Christian deity version of the elves. It is the big creator that stepped in, that would send their son out to save the world. He also created the rest of the pantheon from him, in the same way that the Greeks and the Romans and all that believed that the gods spread and recreated and procreated internally. Corellian helped build the rest of the pantheon. They're called the Tel Quessir, which is Tel''Quessir, which is a very elven word to say in your harsh, draconic way. You would specifically know that a very derogative name. Most people would know him as the Protector, the Preserver of Life. A lot of his enemies tend to call him the Big Fairy, which is genuinely in the 5e rules. The Big Fairy is very much he is elven to the degree of elvenness. He is the god that if you met them would very much be of that, like, oh, hello there. Yeah, yes. He is, I think from Stan's perspective, the Big Fairy is the one that you would know him by, and jokingly be talking about him as.
Yeah.
Put a disclaimer on screen at this point and just be like, don't worry, everyone here's gay.
In full fairness,
Yeah.
I actually, unfortunately, the elves are gay coded in high fantasy. Unfortunately, that's just a reality of high fantasy. All the elves are gay coded, all the orcs are cockney coded. Like, everyone who's bad is poor, everyone who's good is gay and weird, and
Yeah.
like, unfortunately, that's all dwarves are Scottish, and that makes them stupid and reckless but tough. It's problems in media.
That's fair.
But yes, you would probably know him as the Big Fairy, unfortunately.
Delightful.
Specifically, Corellion got together with Bahamut and teamed up for a very, very meaningful alliance to stamp out our surface invasion. And unfortunately, the hard truth of the matter is that regardless of how hard Lolth works, her darkness will always be overcome by his light. Darkness, as a state of being, is the absence of light. You cannot create darkness, but you can always create light. Which is an unfortunate fact of reality.
Can stand the spoken. You know one spell called darkness and great darkness.
But what it does is it removes light. How many abilities do you know that can create light, and how many of the one spell can create darkness?
Does stand very well to create light. Which means he knows more that create darkness than he creates light.
That's true.
That's gonna more than create darkness than create light.
There you go. Regardless of idiocy in the room, there is no way to truly stamp out Corellion. It's a sad fact. Lolth was banished, and must remain so.
If we kill him. Yeah, I think so.
There is... I'd prefer you kill him in a bad way, but if you wanted to try, I suppose that would help a lot.
Well, get him on the way.
You can see that he is very much in that, in the way of like, if your toddler was like, if we won the lottery, could that help? He's like, yeah, try.
Don't
If
worry.
you can do that, yeah.
Don't worry, Dad. We'll add it to the list.
Yeah.
Never got that performance.
Right now,
On the ball.
back to the shadows.
If Corellion was out of the picture, obviously, huge win for the Drow. I wouldn't necessarily put your mind to that task. There are minor gods and there are creator gods, and he is the creator of one of the oldest and most powerful creatures on the planet.
Work away up.
You can feel free to try.
Practice.
Sorry, we'll stop at my god, then we'll stop at other people in the group god, then get to your god.
Very well. On that note, are you satisfied?
Yes, though I'm worried that if I can speak plainly, I'm worried that the father will ask me to do something.
To murder me.
Yes, and
It's a fair-
I would.
It's a fair accomplishment.
Yeah, I would prefer to avoid that outcome.
I would prefer that as well. However, let's go with I'm confident in my own abilities that an attempt would not be insulting.
Which are you planning on taking action in a way that would force my hand?
I'm not planning on killing the father, if that's what your concern is. It's not something that's out of the question for me. And perhaps in a couple of years, when I am ready to take leadership, it might be something that I look to. I'm certainly not going to take it off the plate. I'm sure you're familiar with progression in our society. I do wish to progress if I'm ready. I don't believe I would be successful at the moment without serious help. If you are offering help, that would not be untoward. However, I understand old friends and allies can be tough to break.
I feel I wouldn't be opposed if I had no other option. But
Interesting.
I feel like I'm not at a place where I'm strong enough to do that.
Interesting.
Wait.
I'm in a similar place.
Hmm.
However, I'm not so far off that I am not blind to the idea that he might preemptively strike. Which is
But-
why I'm not concerned or insulted that you have come seeking these answers.
Yes, because I would hate to stifle your right to protest.
Wonderful. On that note, I must go back to my job. And he walks off, leaving you in his quarters.
Seriously,
Oh, convenient.
can I just start dealing and go, you know, as a...
And at this point you realise there are 2 people in the room, not 3.
Ooh. Uh-oh.
There is no Soren.
Uh-oh.
So as soon as I turn to go...
Presume
lay my
like
cards
there's
on the
more
table,
people.
No,
Oh my gosh. You'll just get killed.
no. What were you going to say?
So as soon as I turn around, you know, laying all your cards out on the table probably wasn't the greatest use of a sneaky person, but... Oh,
Shit.
yeah. We're messing yourself on.
Oh, who are we saying? Oh, sorry.
There is no Soren.
Oh, no.
So at this point,
Sure, without me.
At this point, you have a slight flashback to the father double checking that you are okay with them being in here.
Yeah.
And you have a little bit of a flashback to this is quite a dangerous place, and there are spies and murderers in this location, and you have missed a companion.
Oh no. Oh,
With no warning,
oh no.
Soren's gone.
Oh no.
We cut to Soren.
Oh no. Oh no. I didn't realize the implications of that. Whoops.
So you've wandered off. I presume you're just going to meet Oscar?
Yeah.
Wonderful. So you're just sort of walking through the streets. You know that the location that you've been told to find is a guild hall, actually, which is a rare thing to be set up in these locations unless it's a huge guild. And the information you've been given is that it's a temporary housing for a guild that's been brought over to sort of like work as a freelancer at the moment for some nobles that are concerned. The letter that you received mentioned cultish activities in the city, which now makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
And noble houses being like concerned and bringing on extra protection just in case things go sideways. And he didn't mention it in his note, but the drow that gave you the letter basically saying this is the location, this is where they'll be, has let you know that the guild that he's a member of is called the Giant's Hammer. So you're looking for a symbol of a giant on a hill holding up a large hammer and sort of brandishing it down to crack the hill.
Oh, very cool.
So you see that symbol on a wall. It's not that hard to find. You've been given directions. The city is early morning, busy, so there's like the hustle and bustle of general stuff. Walking through, you can see like undead doing various tasks. You can see undead gardeners. You can see undead shopkeepers. And you can see people sort of collecting various things. And there are like living people interacting with the undead. There are also people like, you can see that they're kind of just maintaining concentration on a couple spells and just like gathering gold from tills or like watching the gardeners to make sure that they're not doing anything stupid. You know that undead are programmable to a certain extent, like give them an easy task, but they don't really have the agency to work out whether they've done that task right. So they'll just keep doing it unless you're constantly watching. So you can see like powerful wizards just sort of chilling by shops, like making sure that their stuff's going well. You can also see that the city is still in its layer of fog. The way that you've seen it as you were entering was the way that sort of from a side point of view was this grungy sort of London Victorian era town with the fog and the drizzle and that sort of mood of dreariness. And the vibe is very much that. Everyone's got their head down, everyone's going to the location that they're supposed to be going to. There is an air of not wanting to talk to your neighbours, not wanting to discuss things. This is very much a they don't trust each other. There's something going on vibe. But you're not sure if that's right or wrong. This city seems to kind of just be don't talk about it as a general rule. As you wander through the city, you start hearing the sounds of general work and hammer, like forges nearby, and you catch a glimpse of a guild hall that is familiar because of a description to you. It's a large building, sort of in that log cabin-esque style, which sticks out a lot from the stone buildings nearby. It looks almost like a Viking long hall in that way of there's an entrance bit and then it's a T-shaped building, and you can see that there are forges and that there are like training areas and things like that nearby where you can see people practicing. You can see like people at forges building stuff, and you can see this symbol carved in one of the like almost in that way of like a shopkeeper where there's like a post sticking out and then there's like a little dangling sign of the image. As you approach, you can see that there is a huge entity in a piece of armor. Like, we're talking a 7-foot tall piece of armor, like hammering away, doing blacksmithing in full plate mail, fully covered, hammering away at this massive axe. And they keep hammering, and you can see that they turn and see you, and they sort of approach, and you can see the clanking, and it's a proper big heavy piece of armor. And as they approach, you realise that they are about 7 foot tall.
Jesus.
And they reach to grab you.
It's just a little drop and stand.
I dodge.
And all you hear is, "Oh my god."
Oh no. Oh.
And the helmet comes off, and you see your old friend Oscar. You see a very, very handsome looking wood elf, and he is slim features, slick back hair, one eye missing, melted shut with a glowing orb behind it. Horrible scarring all along this side of his face and missing an ear. Oh my god! It's been so long!
To you.
It's fine. It's fine. These things happen. I was in a mild accident. But the important thing is you're here. I've got to get you in the house. Come on, I'll introduce you to the wife. Mrs. Sorry. Soon to be. It's so good to see you. I wasn't expecting you for a while.
Yeah, we were in. Well, we got quick passage to town. Holy shit!
You weren't due for another week or two. I'm happy to have you.
I'm happy to be here.
This is brilliant. I'll be another 5-10 minutes with the axe, if you will. And he sort of leans over and shouts, "Babe, come on. This is Soren." And you can see that they're like in a way of, I thought we were going to have an introduction, but also I'm busy. So, so you can see that a very sort of muscular, lithe, in that way of like swimmer, runner, marathon runner, but like heavy musculature underneath it as well. A woman comes over, and she is sort of made of like molten rock, and you can see that the shifting under the skin, you would recognise them as, you're not sure if they would be a fire genasi or an earth genasi.
Okay.
Maybe some combination of the two. And they introduce themselves as Maltera as they shake your hand. Hello, I've heard so much about you. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
Would you like some tea? You can come in and wait for your...
Sure. Yeah.
Perfect.
Please.
And they lead you into the long hall, and they set you up with tea, and they're just immediately trying to gossip to you about various things that's happening. You can see that Maltera is just a lovely person. You get the whole vibe of like just someone who is active and loving in their life, basically. This is fantastic. I've heard so much about you. We're so excited for the gathering. All of his brothers are coming over soon, so there's going to be all 6 of them.
Jeez.
All 6 of them together for the first time in a long time.
Oh, that's
It's going to be hellish. And then when we go over to Stratos, there's going to be the rest of the family. The rest of my family's going to be over there. And she sits you down, and she sort of goes into the kitchen, makes some tea. And about 5-10 minutes later, she comes back, and you hear this like It's like a step and then a huge thud, and then a step and then a thud, and then into the room walks your old friend Oscar. And you can see that it's not just this half of his face, he's missing an arm and a leg on the same side, and the armour is a part of him. He has built the armour into his body so that he has this like huge muscular arm and leg that's like of proportion, but it's clear that it can maybe grow to fit the rest of his armour or something like that. You're not really sure how it works, but it seems to be of proportion to his body. But it's definitely a heavy steel plate leg and a heavy steel plate arm. He's moving it as if it's biological. It's fully functional as part of him, but it's definitely a distinctive gait. He's walking as if one half of him's in full plate, which it kind of is.
Yeah.
And you can see that the connective tissue, the arm goes like above his collar, and you can see like bolts, and it's definitely integrated fully. And he comes over and he hugs you again. Absolute bear hug. This is amazing. It's been so long.
It's been a really long time. Holy shit.
This is fantastic.
You tell me everything.
Oh, we've been fantastic. Oh, the adventures. Things go wrong fast when you're away from home.
Yeah.
Things go wrong fast. I presume you've noticed, and he clanks one arm onto his metal leg.
It was kind of hard not to.
Yeah, it would be. You can see why I didn't mention it. It's tough to talk about.
Yeah, I know that.
I didn't want to really say in the letter. It's hard to
There's
explain.
a lot of things you don't say in letters, huh?
Yeah, yeah. That's fair. That's fair. Little shade, but fair.
Yes. What's been going on?
It's a tough topic. And Maltera sort of puts her hand on his shoulder. There were accidents when we went on our first couple adventures. And Oscar takes over. I was in the wrong company for a little while. My skills are primarily armoring. My skills are primarily repairing. I am good with my tools, and I was fixing up various pieces of armor. But we were attacked, and my guild did not stay to defend me. So when our camp blew up, I was sort of left on my own to figure things out. And we were on the surface, and there was bad weather, and there was an incident with an explosion. And the rest of my guild, as far as I know, have made it out fine. But we...
What guild was this that helped you start?
It's a tough topic. They used to be called the Bowstrings. As far as I know now, they're going by Splintered Bowstrings. They're mostly wizards, archers, that sort of thing. Long-range combat, perfect for someone like me to be doing just general repairs. But the camp exploded, and no one had bothered to come tell me that they were under attack. So when the explosion happened, I lost a couple body parts, and I was left alone in the woods for a while. If I had been near clean equipment, things would have been a lot easier, a lot nicer. As it happens, there was a lot of armour nearby, and I needed to stop the bleeding, and I don't really know medicine. I know mechanics. And he sort of looks quite sad, and Maltera puts her hand on him, on his shoulder, and is just like, if he had been a cleric or any other kind of spellcaster, there would have been chances to regenerate. But as things stand, unless we come across someone far more powerful than anyone we know, we're kind of going to keep the armour for a while.
Are you okay though?
Oscar sort of like flexes. It's tough. It's heavy. I was never really that strong before. I mean, there's hammers and forging, but I worked with delicate equipment, so... And then anything big, I could build a machine to hit. I had to get strong. I had to get stronger fast, and it was a bit of an adjustment. But we're constantly making improvements, constantly going for lighter materials. There are improvements to be made, and there's improvements that are still happening. I'm looking to upgrade pretty soon to something a lot lighter. I'm actually thinking something wooden, for a lot more lighter. We're working with a druid in the camp that we have here for maybe some living wood, trying to combine the arcane tech with something organic, which could be good, could be a lot better than the metal. It gets cold and it gets hot. It's not very good at regulating temperature. But yeah, we're trying.
Fuck, man.
Yeah, these things happen. What about you? I heard about your family. Are you okay?
I'm fine. Yeah, that's fine.
He puts his hand on your shoulder. I understand.
That was a long time ago.
I hear Home's doing well. They've recovered a lot. I'm mostly dreading my family coming.
Oh god. Yeah.
They know about the accident, but seeing is one thing.
Yeah. It definitely is.
Yeah. You can see that, the person you once knew was this, slim, nerdy elf that was just happy to read books all day and has kind of been forced to become this very fit, very athletic person who is more muscular than you, but only really on one side. You can see that the areas of the connection have started to become red, irritated and scarred. It looks messy. It looks like someone who didn't know what they were doing cobbled together an arm and then has kind of been forced to work with that ever since. Basically, but to a kind of harsher extreme. Yeah. It's more comfortable to be in the full armor. When I have the full support of everything, it's more comfortable. And you obviously notice that he's not 7 foot tall, he's about 5'4".
Yeah.
The rest of the armor I've built out to have support. The other areas are heavy enough to deal with the weight. The other areas, and he sort of clicks a couple buttons on the side of his leg, and it expands to be the size of the rest of the armor. And then he clicks some buttons on the arm, and it expands to be the size of the rest of the armor. And then it sort of shrinks back down to regular human size.
Even in the most terrible of occasions, you still can't help but show off.
You can see that even Maltera has a bit of a sly grin at that. It's not unknown to her that this is a problem. We're trying to do the best we can. The armor helps a lot. The main armor helps a lot, and I tend to be in that most of the time.
Well, I've got friends. I've recently got actual
Good.
friends. Yeah.
What a change of pace for you.
I know, it's incredible. But we've been traveling quite a bit, doing odd jobs here and there, and I tend to meet some very odd people, do some very odd jobs.
Traveling will do that to you, and they sort of nudge each other.
You get there. Very too happy. But
They are very Disney Channel. They're very Disney Channel.
to that end, I come across quite a few strange and unusual things. If there's anything that you need or
I appreciate the offer. I do. Unless that happens to be an incredibly ancient druid, then it's not going to be a ton of help. Unfortunately, in my field of research and my current lifespan, there's no real way for me to get into druidic magic enough to deal with this myself. there are few people on the planet that can cast spells powerful enough to regenerate limbs, and I will never be one of them. So we make do with what we can make do with. Such is life.
Torrin is making mental notes now
To find the
down.
oldest druid that they can.
Find the oldest druid. Look, if Stan can kill Tiamat, I can find an old fucking druid.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's not. It's to the degree of like mythical heroes. Like, they're not unreasonable to find. Like, you've met one. Thordel was a mythical hero, not a druid, not by any fucking means. But if you need someone to snap a building in half, he's there. But druids and powerful magic is powerful for a reason. It's not necessarily attainable by everyone, if that makes sense. Anyway, you're in town? How long? Are you staying here till the wedding? We're not due to fly out for another 2 weeks. There is people in the city that are still looking for protectors if you fancied doing some day-to-day jobs of just watching carts, dealing with that sort of thing.
Bodyguard.
Yeah, bodyguards, that sort of thing.
This Stan just appears in the corner. I'm not sure how long we're in the city for. I'll definitely be here for the wedding. I'm probably a long time.
Well, remember the wedding's in Stratos, so yes, the wedding's at Stratos in 3 weeks. So there's 3 weeks to get there. I reckon from here we're leaving a week to travel, because we've planned out quite nicely that it's going to be close by DragonSpark to sort of make the commute nice and easy. And we actually have a ship, so we're going to be taking our ship that we've rented for this year. Actually, we have it for a year. Took a while to save up for that. We've got our own, luckily, and he gestures around to the guild that he's in, a couple of people here can pilot, so we're sort of borrowing crew members from the guild as favours to fly at various places. But yes, we're happy to have you here. If there's anything that we can do to help or that you need from us, we're more than happy to chip in, try and help. There is a lot going on in the city at the moment. There's this new cult that's moved in that we're being hired to deal with. As far as we can tell, there seems to be some sort of Lolth invasion going on, sort of big picture in the world at the moment. And the nobles here are just... It's less that they're wanting to stop it and more that they just want protection in the day-to-day. There are some paladins moving in to sort of deal with it, big picture. I'm not really sure where they're at, but there's a lot of rumours going around of, like, especially Bahamut. There's some Bahamut paladins kicking about. I heard rumours that there was some Corellian Pantheon worshippers, like clerics, coming through.
Oh shit! Wow. Okay.
But I'm not really sure how or why or where the Lolth stuff or the god stuff is. We're just here to guard our sort of area. And he points to sort of out the window. You can see there's like 2 big noble houses. There are 2 close to each other that sort of chipped in and they've built this sort of wooden cabin in between for the next, brought here sort of indefinitely until they can decide what to do with us. But they're sort of splitting the cost between the 2 houses. So we're quite a big guild. So we split. There's 6 people on each sort of duty. And we sort of rotate every now and again to keep things fresh. We don't really know what's going on other than that. We're day-to-day guards. Nice easy money.
Sat here watching stuff. You're not getting involved in.
No. Well, I'm not getting involved anyway. There's a 0 chance of me entering combat unless someone attacks this place again. And he sort of, fingers crossed in the metal hand that he's got, shouldn't happen again. Shouldn't happen again. It'll be. I really don't want it to happen again. And Maltera sort of puts her hand on him again and is like, we're in the city centre. And he's like, I know, it's okay. It's not panic. It's just luck. It would be just my luck for twice in a row. And she's like, it's enough.
Maybe you'll be fine here. all the toxic cults are always very exaggerated. So
Well, there have been a lot of murders recently, which is concerning a lot of us. I will admit, we were kind of in the same boat as that sort of like, nobleman, scared of cults. There's probably 2 drow moved in nearby, and they're all terrified of them.
yeah.
But there's about 40 or 50 new drow in the city
Oh.
that we're keeping track of in a sort of minor way. And there have been a surprising amount of murders in the local area. And you recall that you're about a 10-minute walk from the headquarters of Lulf. Yeah, it's been not tougher than we thought. The families that we're representing are, one of them's a tiefling house and one of them's a half-orc house. And both of them have no real ties to the city government. The tieflings are all wizards and warlocks, and they're just sort of a noble family living their day-to-day life. They run some of the local shops, and they're using their necromancy to like make servants. And then the orcs on the other side, the half-orcs I should say on the other side, are just warriors that have retired to a place where they don't really want to fight anymore. And orcish and half-orcish society, that's kind of a big no-no. You're not really allowed to just not fight as part of the tribe. So they've kind of just wandered off and ended up here and happened to have a ton of gold. So they just peaceful-ish family members that needed guards. Yeah, we've had no issues so far. No real pattern to the murders that we can figure out, or that we've cared to really look into.
They're just being random.
Well, there's... He sort of looks at Maltera and they're like... Maltera's like, I think there's been 16, 17 in the last week. And Oscar's like, no, last I heard was 25. And Maltera's like, well, there was the 4 at the bakehouse. And he's like, yeah, and then there was 6 down the road at that family house. They all got wiped out together. And they're like, no, that was 7. Because they also had 2 kids. And then they're sort of going through this list of about... There ends up being about 23 that they can tick off that's happened in the last week. Of people that are missing, and some of them are missing, presumed dead, and some of them are, we found bodies.
No one will ever guess the giant building was
In fairness, no one is really accusing the drow of anything. Like, no one's really accusing you of anything as far as you know.
I saw the building in the...
And even though they're talking about this, you're like, they're a 10-minute walk from headquarters of the most vicious killers I've ever met. And they had no idea that 25 people could be in that building right now. Which kind of speaks to the complexity of the organisation that you've dealt with, especially considering those scouts found these people in under an hour. Like...
Yeah. That's a lot of death.
In fairness, we're not really sure what the average death toll of this city is. We're not that concerned because our families are not that concerned. The people we're guarding don't seem to be reacting as if this is too concerning. And we've seen the amount of undead nearby. We're not sure where they're getting them all. Which is a general level of anxiety that we're not totally comfortable with. The city has a morgue, and we know that you can buy bodies from the morgue, but there can't be that many. Like, well, that's what we thought, but they don't seem to run out.
It's far more concerning.
That's kind of the vibe we've been in for the last 6 months. But like we say, there's been 6 months of no issues on our end. But the murders have been ramping up. This week was bad. Like, especially whole families being wiped out is a new thing. And we're not really sure how or why it's happening. Anytime we find bodies, they're pretty much unmarked. And no sign of poison, which is concerning.
They're just
Yeah. But again, we're not really being paid to investigate it, so we're in a hope that it will kind of just pass by. I know it's kind of shit to say, but I mean, you witnessed 25 deaths and then think, I'll charge in to investigate.
Yeah, that's fair. Just double checking character.
Mhm.
Took us about a week of travel to get
It took you about 9 days.
Okay. But all of these murders have been ramping up within
Within a week. They said within a week.
Seems kind of like they succeeded in one city, so they started murdering a bunch of people in another.
Could be. Could have been 3 days to get the word out and then ramp up organizations.
This is so Adam's family, like family from that comes in. It's like, oh wow.
Yeah.
So fucking what? I don't suppose you hear anything from other cities.
I don't really have a network to find out information from other cities. I know our guild leader has contacts in other cities with other guild leaders. They have a sort of, not like a scrying situation, but sort of like a communal sending stone network. So they can kind of relay messages back and forth if you want to find someone in particular or certain information. Giant's Hammer has spread out all over the country. I think there's one set up in Titan's Hand at the moment that's kind of a headquarters. And then we've got one here. There's 2 on the surface in various cities. I think there's 2 more. There's one on Stratos, which is one of the reasons we're going there, is because we can kind of give the airship to them and they'll ferry it back to the guild again. And then there's another one. He sort of looks to Maltera and she's like, oh, there's another one somewhere kicking about.
Fair enough. Oh, but you guys have been doing pretty well for yourselves then.
We've been well, yeah. We've been making money. It's been nice. Yeah, it's been good. And they sort of look to each other and nod. And they're like, we're getting 600 gold a week each.
Oh, really?
A week.
Oh my god.
These nobles are loaded. This whole city is loaded.
That's amazing. That's a lot of gold.
It's a lot.
Yeah, maybe my friend's house was too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I seen something not long ago of there was some, because obviously we're part of the guilds, there are contact points in the local government where you can go and sort of search for bodyguards type things. I think they were going like 50 gold a day for like a week's worth of work, and some like cart guarding stuff. Like, I'm not sure why. I don't know where all the fucking money's coming from, if I'm honest. But then again, half the population's dead, so.
Great family and coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely tell my friends about that. I know 2 of them could be really good bodyguarding. I don't know about the other one. She's got a bit of a with
Not a good bodyguard. These things happen. Everyone's got their skill set. No? Fair enough. Bit of a useless, just not that helpful. Entertaining. Well, bards are good. Oh. Well,
I just find great.
I suppose that's fine, as long as it's meant playfully. You might want to find new friends.
I don't think I can. I don't think he'll leave me alone if I try.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Sometimes you pick up stragglers and Maltera shouts to Oscar.
Well, it's bound to happen when you eventually left your house.
So was this. And he sort of pats his arm. It's like, danger. Yeah, well, there's a reason wizards stay in houses. I've said this all along. I said this to all the people back home. You should get out there in the world. No, it's dangerous. And then look what happened. No one else loses both arms. Not both arms. You understand. You get it.
I do. Honestly, I'm surprised you survived long enough to lose an arm.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
We're so scared of it. It's so funny.
It was fine eventually. I thought I heard something there. Hearing. Poor hearing.
Oh, I brought you some.
You did?
Yeah, it's not very big. I've built contains shit all over the place and everything. I'm gonna dig through my bag and I'm gonna find the little mechanical products.
The 2 clockwork toys. Wonderful.
I'm going to present them.
As you pull him out, his whole sort of, like, his eyes light up and he's like, where the hell did you get these?
Where was I?
Smokestacks.
Smokestacks. I was the last place I was.
You bitch. I fucking do bitch. He started staring daggers at you, and even Volterra's giving you a look of, you know. You know.
There were so many cool things.
I've heard so much. I've been studying their books for a lifetime.
There was giant, just walking like robots. It was amazing. There were people.
I've heard about their automatons.
There was cars.
No, a lot of this tech is built on the theory that I learned from automatons.
Yeah, it looks kind of similar to them.
I hope so. And he sort of starts examining the frog and the bird and is just like loving life at it. It's a proper moment of like, you've seen this rugged representation of what your friend used to be, and as soon as you hand over the toys, he's a 12-year-old with a Christmas present. He's like eyes sparkling, big grin, like immediately takes apart the frog to compare it to the bird. And you're like, that's not what I got you these for. And he's like, this is how I enjoy presents. Very much in that cat-like way of, I'll play with the box.
Well, I'm very glad that you like them. Maybe I'll go back one day and get you a whole of them.
Maybe I'll go back. How about that? Maybe we'll go together next time. Yeah?
Just Soren's laughing and then realizing he might not be able to.
I mean, there's nothing against you.
Yeah, but the company I keep, they have things against.
Nah, they won't recognise me.
You're the only one they will recognise. Needle was disguised. They're the same name, but... Well...
I should probably...
Well, you're welcome to stay if you would like. And then we'll cut to Needle and Stan. You're going through this realisation of Soren's gone. I don't know where they went.
To the torture rooms.
To the torture room.
I think I recognise one of those screams, maybe.
Are you going to allow Stan to run through the corridors looking through doors?
Nope, distraction. They'll attack you if you just
To the doors! I'm sure that's where Soren would go.
Maybe.
Needle's like, anything but the torture rooms. We'll go to the sewer. It's fine. Do you really want to go to the sewer?
Would I think
Blood.
Soren went to the sewer?
I don't know what you would think. What do you think?
Can we roll like something? I mean, it's not a secret that
It's not a secret that there is one location that they have a friend in the city. They were given that information by one of the drow here, so there's a good chance they went there.
The sewer adventure can wait.
I got
For the torture adventure, I'm not sure how long that could wait. We need to go there eventually.
Why?
Really does depend on whether you want to go there.
We need to go there eventually. What if they have steely things? Shiny things?
I can't even. I'm not even near to comment, but I really
You're
want
not.
to so bad.
You have no idea how many times I wanted to jump into the conversation. With the one friend who's not good at anything. I'm good at speaking and talking and descriptions.
Yeah, but Soren's not going to admit that.
So you agree?
Yeah, but he's not going to admit that.
So you think I'm a good liar? I'm a good tell. I'm gonna have to take the first answer. Okay. Anyway.
So, you would like to try and make your way over to the giant's hammer?
Yeah.
Wonderful. You weren't really given the piece of paper, but I presume Soren would have like shared the information after being given it. So, do you want to disagree with that?
It's not even.
Okay. So you guys make your way over. You kind of get there and you don't recognise anyone. You just show up at this sort of building and you recognise the logo. And there are people sort of milling around outside. There's people like walking in and out the front door. There's about 30 folk here, sort of going about their day. What would you like to do?
I guess just asking around.
For Soren,
Yeah.
everyone that you ask is just like, I've never met him. I'm sorry, I can't help.
Tiefling, purple,
Very.
very. Very.
Very.
You're very purple.
A very purple boy. I guess I think Oscar took someone inside for tea or something. You can and he sort of knocks on the front door and shouts in, and you guys hear. Oscar, there's a dragonborn and a drow outside asking for a Soren.
What's it?
We've come for a stray.
They've asked everyone outside. And you also hear, "Are you alive? We've come for our stray." And Oscar just looks at you and raises just the one eyebrow.
But we thought you were being tortured.
I'm guessing
Are
your friends?
Apparently that's a bit strong word to use, yes.
You can let them in. And the guy just opens the door and walks off. And I presume you enter.
Yeah.
And inside you see the shifting-skinned earth or fire genasi with the long braided hair, and you see a very athletic-looking, strong-looking wood elf who is in metallic arm, metallic leg, metallic eye, horrible scarring all over one side.
Do that later. So you're not being tortured.
Hello, people who know me and don't understand what privacy is.
Hello, my fellow acquaintance who left us in a place where torture is not all that uncommon.
Oscar is like, you were being tortured?
No, we weren't being tortured. It was.
You were just involved in
No,
torture.
we weren't involved in anything.
Okay.
We got here last night. So.
And there was torture. Is this a new relationship I should be concerned about?
No, God, no.
He sort of eyes both of you up, trying to guess which one would be the torturer and the torturee.
Nito just looks to see the scars, also has facial scars, go, yeah.
Sad is too dumb to back up on the
Nod
implication.
in respect.
Yeah.
Soren wishes he was too dumb to pick up on the implications. Oscar and
Maltera.
Oscar Maltera, this is Stan, this is Needle.
What did you do there?
What about?
Fantastic. I am Oscar. I'm one of Soren's old flames, so to speak.
Needle, don't phrase it like that.
You're a fire!
Oh no.
And Maltera holds out her hand. No, that would be me.
Oh, okay.
And shakes your hand. And as you shake her hand, she feels incredibly warm to the touch. Not burning, but like a warm radiator, like generating heat.
She's just that hot.
Yeah.
These are my traveling companions. We've been together recently.
Perfect.
They haven't yet learned what friends.
It takes a while.
Shut up, you stole my bed.
To share or
No,
No, she just essentially
no gossip?
asked through
No
the
gossip.
no gossip, no.
None?
No.
She likes
I'm
me.
sorry.
Likes mayonnaise.
Shared a room yesterday.
She shared rooms. Fun days.
Completely clueless.
Fun
She's so
days.
incredibly irrelevant.
Good to know you've expanded your arsenal since we last spoke. I did think your tastes were a little boring, but
Hey,
you've expanded.
what does that mean?
Well, anyone that doesn't want me is really...
Okay.
They're pushing the boundary on whether they even care.
Okay. It's dessert, but go on. Nothing happened or is going to happen.
Well, I'd say we've been through quite a lot together. You know, we've done a lot on that last island. I wouldn't say it was insignificant.
Wow. You can see that your incredibly camp friend is just here for the gossip. Doesn't even care if it's true. You have flash forwards to the wedding you're about to attend, and he's going to be telling all his brothers. There's going to be like your whole hometown is going to be like, he has two partners at the moment. He has two partners of so different.
Quietly, kind of under his breath, he's like, I'm so glad to left the child at home.
Two partners and an adopted child. My God, guys!
Well, this is a special meeting. We were staying at the place, because I'm not saying we're staying with the cult. Are we staying there tonight, or do I have to find other accommodation? Well, I've done all I need to do there. Are you staying there or not? You know where we can find somewhere to stay with multiple rooms. Yes.
We have some accommodation available. I think we have 2 rooms spare. I'm not sure if that's enough for you.
Yeah, that could work. I'll share with the child as well. You guys can deal with each other. I don't know. Do we
Need a break?
Would you pay or do chores?
You're old friends. We'll be fine. We'll work shit out.
That's really kind of you. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I guess then we'll come back later with all
Absolutely.
of our things. Buy all of our things in 2 bags. For some more. But
You're actually not poor. It's just out of game.
no, I know.
Like
Stan's not poor. Stan has all the rest of our money.
you all got an even-ish split.
Your money.
You got an even-ish
How
split.
much money do you have? Anything else, it's per management. Like,
I'm really just okay. I have loads of money, but I'm
Yeah.
used to not having that.
You would be familiar that like the best hotel in most local areas at the absolute most would be like 10 gold a night.
that's extortion.
It is extortionate. It's phenomenally expensive for your average peasant, but you guys are not that.
Yeah,
You assassinated a world leader.
if we go around advertising that, then people are going to get the wrong impression. It's easier to just go, oh,
Yeah.
we're so poor.
Yeah.
Even if our
Imagine giving
pockets
the
are
wrong
way
impression.
down,
I
we
could
go,
be
where'd all that money come from? Oh.
Where'd all that money come from? Well, you know, you kill one world leader, you get them all.
The same place I got this. Is that the adamantine breastplate of the guy that ruled that city?
Oh my god, no way!
Perhaps.
No, how did you afford that armor? Sorry, carting that around.
Yeah.
So great.
I still have that.
We're probably going to go and check out, see the jobs you were talking about.
Absolutely. The local government buildings nearby, sort of half an hour, 45-minute walk, and he sort of points off to the city. You'll spot it.
Okay.
It's tough to miss.
Well, I'm going to give him another hug, and it was amazing seeing you.
He hugged you back, of course.
And I offered, so bad with her name,
Maltera.
Malthera, I need to, I'll remember it.
She hugged you as well.
Okay.
And it's
Lovely
warm.
to meet you.
It's very warm.
And yeah, molten terror. Yeah. We will be back later, soon.
Sure, yeah. I've got a ton of work to do, so I might be busy when you come back, but
I'll just come in.
yeah, perfect. There's 30 people training with weapons, and none of them know how to hold back, so I'm repairing constantly.
Fun. Sounds fun.
Yeah, it pays well.
Hey Stan, you should spar with someone.
You can do that. There are people training in the yard now. You can see that there are fighters. There are a couple fighters. There's a couple barbarians kicking around.
I'll give you 5
that's
gold
good.
if you win a.
I will fight. I will fight one of them.
If you're looking for a fight,
As I say, if I'm gonna get paid, I'm gonna ask, hey, I heard that you're training. Would you like to pay me some spar?
No, I'll give you
If
5
you're
gold
looking
if
for
you
a-
win.
As well.
if you're looking for a free fight, our leader, and they both look to each other, Beth is usually available. You'll spot her. She's the only Goliath here.
Hey, yo.
Oh, I'm looking for a sparring session. La-di-da-di-da, go look for me.
Yeah, you step out into the yard and you see immediately who they're talking about. And she's like 6.5 foot tall, like shaved sides, braid all the way down, and then it's one of those. She looks gigantic, and she's wielding this hammer that looks as if you couldn't even pick it up, probably.
Yeah.
So it's this like, she's 6.5 foot tall, and she's wielding a 5 foot long war hammer with this gigantic golden, golden filigree, sort of woven pattern all over it. And as you sort of approach, she's just smashing the hammer into rocks repeatedly. Like, that's her training, is to crush rocks. And she's just like sweat pouring down her, smashing rock after rock after rock after rock. And you'd be familiar that she's swinging at a pace that is ridiculous for the weight that she's bearing.
I'm just gonna lean over to Oscar. Remember that intertable I was talking about?
Hello, can I ask one question before I say anything else?
You hear a final crack onto the rocks in front of you, and then she sort of like wipes her brow, looks over at you. What do you mean one question? Who the fuck are you?
Nice, my name's Stan. I've been told you must be men.
Well spotted.
On a scale of 1 to 20, how strong would you say you are?
She just flexes and is just like, enough.
I'm getting at least a solid 14.
There's no persuasion check on the planet that will make me tell you any character stats ever. No. You could make an insight check on them, but I'm going to tell you, out of game, there's a 0% chance you learn a number.
You know what? I was gonna say, I was so come to you if I would to bar someone. I'm assuming you're out of my range, but I was also told I would get 5 gold if I beat you. So the odds are not in my favour. I love money.
Someone bet 5 gold that you would beat me.
No, if I beat you.
Oh, sorry. So someone has placed 5 gold that I would beat you, and then you've placed that bet against yourself?
No, if I beat you, I get 5.
Yes, that's how gambling works. Someone has bet that. So what? They don't get anything if you lose?
They get nothing.
Are we in the vicinity to hear this?
Yeah.
I just really want to watch him get beat up, and he's motivated by money.
I believe.
You'll pay him to fight me.
If he wins, which he's not going to, so I'm not losing any money. I bet.
Do I get money if I win?
You hear, as soon as that happens in the distance, you hear 10.
Oh no! Yes!
And Beth looks around, and all of her companions are immediately taking bets on who would win. And she's just like, you can see a leader who has truly lost control of a situation, and it's like, no guys, no, hang on. There's no betting. No one's betting.
Yeah.
No one's betting. And you can see that people are actively betting.
No, she's not winning. She knows what she's done.
There's only one way to solve it. Would you be up for a sparring session?
I wasn't betting on who to win. I was giving him money if he won. This is different.
She sort of pokes her head up. What's the odds? And it's like people are sort of murmuring to themselves. And they're like, 4 to 1. She's like, oh.
That's not horrible.
4 to 1 is if you place a bet of 1 gold on Stan to win, you get 4 back because the likelihood is that he will lose.
But it was better than I was expecting.
Aww.
So if you're willing to put 5 gold up, if he wins, you get 20. But if you're betting on her, you'll get like much worse odds. You might get 1 to 1.2 or something. So it'd be like if you put up 10, you'll get back 12 if she wins. If
I'll
that.
be not stick with my thing, but I wasn't betting. I was
No,
going
Needle
to-
was.
No, I know.
Needle was betting.
I'm not betting anything. I was just going to give him money to do it because I wanted to watch him
You
get.
want to
pummeled.
place a bet, Needle? You reckon Stan's gonna win?
No, I bet the strong woman's gonna win.
Wow. Wow, I see how it is. Just to say. Can I clarify? Okay. Are we using weapons in this? Are we using related to the dead?
Traditional rules are that the person that issues the challenge will choose the location and time, and the person that is issued the challenge will choose the weapons. I would typically get the chance to choose weapons unless you are wanting to do it the reverse.
I say we do it in 1 minute here, and you get to choose a weapon that won't immediately eviscerate my internal organs.
She sort of does the math and is like, so no weapons? Or...
I'm okay with the weapons if you are.
That sounds like you would like no weapons. We'll put it this way. It's a sparring session. We'll choose non-lethal.
Oh god.
Let's go to first person to tap out. And we'll, out of game, we'll call tap out 5 hit points.
Okay.
So if you reach 5, you gotta admit that you're at 5. And if I reach 5, I'll let you know.
Great.
This is so funny because I set this up and then I realized that if Stan gets seriously hurt, Sword might lose his shit.
Can I ask a question? Are we allowed to heal during this sparring session?
I will say no potions. If you have an ability to heal yourself naturally, feel free.
Does alcohol count?
What?
Does alcohol count?
No, because that's you drinking something. Nothing external.
Okay. Alright. I believe that should be enough, and I'm just gonna cast Wizard Time on myself.
Yeah, wizard time officially this time.
Why would it not be?
Who's fire
Cool. Let me bring up a character sheet.
Yeah! Instructions.
Whoa! Whoa! Stop! No! Uh-oh! Uh-oh!
Okay, keep rolling your bed.
Can I have that back? Ow!
No, you can't have it back.
No. It's
Oh yeah,
watching
the
that.
drone lady reminds me of Hammer from Fable, but that's just me being autistic.
Mm.
She's so buff and awesome.
Stan is gonna be bed here. Odds are 4-1, but that's not impossible. I was expecting a 10-1 odds.
We're gonna start with a roll and accidentally convince my old friend that I'm in the weirdest fucking college you'll ever.
It would have been so much worse. If I was given the option, I was gonna say another thing which would have made it so much worse.
We're gonna like.
I was gonna say,
Tall.
oh yeah, remember that one day I had to break up as a taxi driver and you were like waiting staff? One of these was a security guard as well, if I was right.
I love it.
Leave that conversation for dinner.
I'll leave it for the wedding. The better question is, what's my suit gonna look like? Am I just gonna wear a suit? I'm gonna come out in the dirty, unwashed curtain,
Put a suit over the curtain.
just sew a suit colour on top of it.
So suit on top of the curtain.
Cool. You ready, Vinny?
I am ready.
So, just to clarify, we're using weapons to 5 hit points.
The 5 hit point.
Cool. You watch as she puts down her hammer, stretches out a little bit, and picks up 2 short swords.
Let's see. You okay?
You want to draw your weapon? Remember, it's an action to draw your weapon, so if you don't do it before combat, you'll waste your first turn.
I'm gonna pull out a quarterstaff. Ready.
Cool. Roll initiative.
How bad could it possibly be? For initiative, that's an 11.
Cool. My 23 means I go first. So, she is gonna... You watch as, like... You're like ready, and then you're holding out your staff, and as you say ready, and like a really ridiculous, she sort of crouches down and lunges with both swords, basically immediately to decapitate you.
Oh my God.
So she's going to make her 2 attacks.
It's too long.
I want a witness to that.
Is it 2 nat 20s?
Oh no. And then Stan made
Oh my God.
That's rubber. That's amazing.
So, how much my
So, on the first of your 2 attacks, she lunges and digs deep into your shoulder for 28 damage.
Got it. That's my temporary hit points gone.
What you at?
Let's see, 28 is 5. I'm at 10 health.
Let's see if the second one hits.
I believe.
That's a nat 2. So as you get hit by the first one, she goes in to like bap you on the head with the other hand of, and you just dodge out the way and you get a turn.
Yay!
And I will say that you recognise that this, although she was training with a hammer, she might not be a fighter. This felt like a very precision-based attack.
Hey.
Perhaps a rogue multi-class.
Okay, so for the first time I think any of you have seen, I'm going to use something called Arms of the Brother. So you watch as my astral arms appear. As they say, they just appear.
So, as this happens, you watch as he's stabbed in the shoulder, and you see his whole cloak starts to like vibrate and shift, and he grows an extra 2 arms from the base of his thing and just starts hammering in. Make some attacks.
How many is it again?
I believe you get 4 for the turn.
Perfect.
Did you know he could do that?
Okay, so
The arms that he grows are like shadows rather than like growing, not like Lilo and Stitch, like growing an extra pair, but like they're like dark shadows appearing from the cloak. And where there was no gap, they sort of float through the cloak.
Even so, didn't know we could do that.
the first one to hit is a 23.
Hits.
Yo!
So that one deals damage.
Do you want to do, I tell you what, because you're a monk, what we'll do is we'll do all your attacks and then do damage all together. Because that's kind of, monks attack so fast, it's all just, I want you to have the full weight of all your damage all at once.
Second one is a 19 hit.
19 hits.
Third one, 18 to hit.
18 hits.
Fourth, oh that was a 10 hit.
10 misses, sorry, yeah.
Okay.
And I believe I also need to make a dexterity saving throw.
Should be, yeah, dex / strength.
That is a 13. What's your dex save? DC 14.
Ooh.
So add 2d6 to that because they failed there. So on summoning, when you summon, you automatically deal 2d6 if they fail their save.
Perfect.
So that's 1 key point to summon,
Yeah.
and then 1 key point to do your flurry of blows to get your 4 attacks.
Okay.
So you're spending 2 key points, and you're making 4 attacks plus 2d6, and 3 of them have hit. Does that make
That's
sense?
plus 56 to every attack.
No, 2d6 because you summoned, and then 4 attacks, and 3 of them have hit. So that is, in total, you're dealing 3d6 plus 12 plus 2d6. All of it force and bludgeoning.
It's not much.
It's gonna be close. It's gonna be real close.
27 damage.
That is 1 point less than she took to you. What the fuck?
Yeah.
27. She's close.
Okay.
You got anything else? So that was your action and your bonus action to do all those attacks. You do have a reaction and movement.
Okay. So for my... Can I use a key point to prepare to dodge for the next round?
I believe that's an action. No, I think you can spend a key point to do it as a bonus action, but you've also used your bonus action already.
That's true. So for movement, I'm just gonna kind of...
I believe... To disengage is a bonus action. Sorry, it's another bonus action.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I can't move or else I'll get attacked. But I'm just gonna like take the sword out of...
Could do your... if you look down your actions, there's a bit other.
Yep.
You have something to do with presence.
Oh yeah, forceful presence.
So you can make an intimidation check with advantage.
You know what?
If you would like to try and get your way out of this.
Why not? I was gonna say, I'm not gonna get out with the thing. I'm just gonna try and intimidate her. I'm gonna try and use forceful presence.
What I mean is, you can, if a creature is scared, they have disadvantage on attacks. So what that will do is that
Oh.
they can't come closer to you on their turn, and if you move out of their reach, you're safe for a turn, essentially, unless she chucks it.
Yeah.
But she'll have disadvantage anyway if she fails.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna use forceful presence. Let's... Charisma or intimidation?
No, charisma is your intimidation.
Yeah.
You can use persuasion or intimidation if you happen to be proficient in one, which I think you're proficient in persuasion if you want to try and just...
Yeah. I'll go with persuasion. As a nice treat.
So what do you say to persuade them into not attacking you next turn?
You've already seen what I can do. This is just one of my many things I have up my sleeve, shall I say. You don't want to do this. And that's a 22 to intimidate.
That'll be a roll of wisdom saving throw. Although I don't know if they'll actually have enough wisdom to pass.
You get an up one.
It's a natural 19,
Ooh.
and they still fail.
There we go.
So you see for the first time, like, it's not that she's scared of you, but she understands that even though she's done a shitload of damage to you now, you've beat the shit out of her this turn, and you can see that moment of hesitation that means you will have that she'll have disadvantage next turn.
Yeah.
It's not terror, it's just
That.
overthinking slightly. Yeah. Would you like to try and move away knowing that it's disadvantage, or you want to stay?
I would attempt to move a little bit further away, just
Okay.
a nice little 10 feet away.
Okay. Ed's going to make an attack of opportunity
Okay.
with disadvantage. On a nat 1,
Oh!
you can see that she tries the same thing of like, she's trying to non-lethal you to just end the fight a little bit early, and in doing so, she just beefs it. And there's just no chance of hitting you. Feel free. So you've moved 10 feet, is that you finished?
That was me finished. Yeah,
Cool. Now, because of forceful presence, she does have the condition scared, so can't approach you. So what she is going to do is chuck one of her swords at you, which is another disadvantage attack.
Two-weapon fight from what I've seen. Or two-weapon sword fight.
It's a 16 hit.
Nope.
She doesn't hit. And that's the end of her turn.
That's it. For the first time in a while,
Because her bonus action's her offhand. You can't throw as an offhand action.
for the first time in a while, I'm gonna approach. I'm gonna use my black breath weapon. I'm gonna dash back.
Why are you going to approach then? Your breath weapon's ranged.
Oh yeah, can we just 30 feet? What am I doing?
Yeah.
Bit of a goose. I was gonna say, I'm just gonna kind of...
I will remind you that this is a non-lethal fight, and it is very hard to non-lethally melt someone in acid. Like,
Fine.
with weapons and arrows, I can kind of be like, yeah, you have a blunted arrow that you can chuck in and blah blah blah. But like, or like an eldritch blast or a. But if you're like, I cast fireball non-lethally, it's like, no, you
I'll
don't.
fireball your leg off.
Yeah, that's flashbacks to Oscar.
No.
If you use, I'm not saying don't, but if you use your breath weapon and you reduce them to 0, I'm letting you know the consequences of that. That's death saving throw material.
You know what? I'm gonna go in again, and I'm just gonna continue the attack.
You're gonna take another 4 attacks.
I am.
I'll tell you now, their armor class is 17. If you want to roll all your damage, just let me know how many times you hit.
Oh, it's not looking good for this one. Saying that, that's 4. 1 hits.
Cool. Roll 1d6 plus 4.
That's 8 damage. Does that out?
No.
Okay, did that use my action, bonus action?
4 attacks, yes.
Got it. I'm just gonna go around so I'm behind.
Cool.
So it's a left.
I haven't just double checked that. That is true, isn't it? It's 1 key point to make 4 as well.
Yeah.
I will remind you, you did attack once, and you do have something that you can spend a key point to do. Stunning strike.
That is very,
As a note,
very.
just to remind you, I know you don't play monks very often, so that's
Yeah, but stunning strike. I will attempt to stunning strike me.
okay. So that's a con saving throw. A 17. I think your DC is 14.
14.
Yeah, so you can see that you smack right in the nerve center, just below the spine, and you can see that she's fucking close to tapping out. Really close. And if you had landed another one, she'd be gone. But she's just hanging in there.
She's so cool.
And it is her turn.
By proxy for
So she only gets 1 attack because it's her.
she threw herself.
She threw another sword. It's a 21 hit.
Does.
This might drop you.
Hoping not.
I hope so.
Well, that sound it does.
That's his own stuff.
She might not. 7 damage
That's enough.
to drop you.
Not down on the ground, but
Are you below 5?
I'm below 5.
Now, do you want to pretend that you're not that damaged and
I will-
risk?
I
And I'll tell you now, risk your own life, because she's trusting you to tap out.
am going to pretend I am not that down.
Make me a deception check with disadvantage because you are dying.
I believe in Stan.
I didn't say it.
With disadvantage, that's a 16.
What was your passive insight?
You aren't even gonna know I'm dying until it's too late.
I mean, I've got a +5.
So 15, so 16.
16.
No, you don't notice.
Oh,
He looks bad. He looks bad, but not dying.
okay. I just won't die. It's that simple, guy.
It's your turn.
It's my turn. I still have 1 key point left. I'm gonna go for it.
4 attacks.
4 attacks. Hopefully she taps out in time. Yeah, that's a nothing. First one is a 24 to hit.
Hits. Roll for damage.
8 damage.
You reduce her to 1 hit point.
Oh!
She was on 9. And as you smack her that last time, she like drops to one knee, clearly dazed, and someone else steps in and is like, "That's enough. That's enough." Damn.
Yeah, I'll pick my 5 gold now.
What? What?
Oh god, what level was she?
She was only 6.
See, I don't think it'd be that high. But
No, she was only 6. She's got 2 levels in fighter and 3 in rogue. Sorry, 4 in rogue. How much? You bet 10, so you get 40.
I've got 5.
You bet 5, so you get 20.
How come you haven't been this competent literally the entire time I've known you?
We haven't been fighting the entire time I've known you.
We
We did one
We
combat.
had one combat and you died twice.
Only once.
Twice. Well, you died once. You got unconscious and then you also got knocked to the floor. And I've just been saying you died twice.
Was that not the same thing?
No, you got reduced to 0 twice. But the first time you were down, and then the second time you popped back up on a nat 20 or something like that. So it was like you were down for less than 6 seconds real time, because it was like their turn, stabbed, reduced to 0, cool, roll a death saving throw, nat 20, fuck yes.
Yeah.
So it was like you Stan basically were like, I got hit hard and stood back up, but
Yeah.
to everyone watching it was like he died and then he came back.
Oh yeah.
Because that was when you revealed wizard time for the first time.
Yeah, I am wizard time.
And if you're
I am an alcoholic wizard, okay?
Yeah.
And so, well, just
As a note, you get 75 XP.
yes.
Just you,
Just me.
because you're the only one that fought. And I'm going to dish out XP at the end of this session for all the things that we have discovered. There's a couple things happening. I don't think it'll be anywhere near leveling up though. No, you're missing about 9,000 XP to level up.
I believe.
You'll get there soon, depending on what you do.
actually deeply entertaining. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You see that she's like, she gets up and she starts healing herself. You notice that as she stands up, she sort of flexes and her wounds start closing on their own. And you suspect that maybe she was just too cocky to use her natural healing abilities. Sometimes overconfidence pays and sometimes it doesn't.
I'm gonna say, I'm gonna approach her, drink some alcohol, wizard time, and go, it was a good fight. It was fun.
It was a good fight. It was good training. I think I'm done for the day though. Who are you people again? Just to confirm.
Oh, I am Stan. It's nice to meet you.
I still don't know you. So, are you waiting on something? Oh goodness, our camera's gone.
Oh no!
I wonder when that happened.
Oh no! Which camera?
That one.
Oh no!
So, Vinny, you've been off camera for the past couple minutes.
That's alright. They didn't need to see me. They need to see Stan.
I think, if I'm honest, I think it ran out of battery.
Oh no!
What time are we at? It's about 3 o'clock. Okay. Let's get a charger. Let's take a small break here. Okay, we're back. Wonderful. So, where were we? You've just collected your winnings. You've just handed over. Both of you have just lost 5 gold. Terrible. Lack of faith in one's own companions. Terrible.
He wasn't supposed to win.
You're supposed to be so sassy.
Yeah, the true response of any. Yeah. So as you guys are settling in again after your fight, I presume you take a short rest to recover some hit points?
Nah, just drank alcohol.
You're just going to drink till you're up at full?
Yeah, just wizard time.
Make me a con saving throw.
Wait, what? Why? I have the alcohol.
Is that immune to the drunk condition?
I didn't set it once.
Yeah, but it's you're drinking enough to refill your full health.
No, I thought it was 44 combo.
Per 1 sip?
It's one thing use for it. That and I got another one. So I'm hoping it's the first one.
No. It's not a sip at all. It's a pint.
1 pint is not good.
You have to drink a pint of beer, ale, mead, or wine.
1 pint is not good.
So what are you drinking? A pint of what?
I'll drink a nice pint of ale.
Cool. You drink a pint of ale.
For everyone else here, this looks like the weird when you just want a fight and just from alcohol at pain who knows where and just
Just out my
That's weird
sleeve.
rocket
Just
magic.
No one could ever get sprayed in Blizzard Pint. It wasn't picking up well.
Wonderful. So, what would you guys like to do? You've regained your hit points. You've successfully kicked the shit out of one of your friend's bosses.
oh no.
Listen, that can't be bad.
True. I mean, we were gonna go look for the jobs, but we need to recover.
Quality garden time.
One run time.
The guard some bodies.
I guess.
Time to guard them bodies.
There's a lot of bodies.
There's a lot of bodies. There's a lot of bodies. As you guys wander off then, Oscar gave you rough directions and said that you wouldn't miss it. And as you're walking through the streets, you can see that in the distance there's this large sort of... It looks almost like a dome shape where it's like tall walls and then like a what's the word? No. Tall walls and then an arena.
The inside.
No. You see a fighting arena 50 feet in the air on stilts.
Thunder.
The Thunderdome. No, because if there was a Thunderdome, everyone knows what that is. I could just say you walk through the streets, then you see a Thunderdome. No, it's tall walls with a dome on top, like a concave. Yeah, like an observatory type thing. That was the word. Arena, you fucking weirdo.
I think a Coliseum as well. It's a big thing. That's
Yeah, but it's not like a rounded thing.
Could be.
Anyway, you see a big observatory style dome as you're sort of walking, and you realise that it's not necessarily a concave so much as it is skeletal.
It's just a break.
You can see that this is, as you get closer and closer, Stan specifically would recognise this as a draconic skull.
Oh.
Is it 10?
The size,
Oh no.
easily the size of a skyscraper, with its jaws pointing out to the back of the city. And you can see that the sort of port as people fly through the jaws of the dragon to get to the local government buildings. This is a perhaps on the nose way of having dragons represented in your city, but the skull of this dragon is colossal in size. And Stan, you would know from experience in dealing with the draconic at all that you've never seen anything even close to this size. This is like, you've never seen anything 1/50th this size. That's how much more massive this skull is than anything else. And as you approach, you realise might have been magically altered, but might just be a big fossil that they've kinda just moved into the city. You're not sure.
I'm gonna turn down. My god! It's a skull that's too small to be Texas. I'd say about maybe just under half the size. I don't know.
If he's telling the truth about this, maybe a deception check.
Yeah.
Yep.
Make me an insight.
Come on, deception. That's a dirty 20.
23,
11.
11.
Well,
Needle.
personally.
If he's telling the truth about this dragon that he's aware of is a world ender. Like, this is on the scale of like Leviathan, Planet Destroyer, Dragon. like could swallow cities if it's anywhere close to the size he's claiming. Iona, not a fucking chance does he know anything. You get the vibe that he's never even seen a dragon close to this size. This is beyond anything you've ever heard of, and he's never seen anything close.
Just have to find it. Sure.
Thanks, you've spoken to a lot of people after that last thing.
So as you approach, you can see that there are people going in and out. You can see that the sort of main population of the city is a bunch of, it's mostly humanoids, people of the medium-sized category, which would be elves, humans, tieflings, drow, that sort of thing. Really quite heavy on the tieflings and humans in this area. There seems to be a lot of demonic ancestry and devilish ancestry going on. You can also see tieflings of various ancestry. You can see some with wings, you can see some of them with the sort of succubi look more, and you can also see some of the more elemental themed ones. You can see the ones that are like horns made of elements instead of regular sort of keratin, which you're aware of would mean mostly that they are from an elemental demonic ancestry. So like something like a chain devil would produce a tiefling with metallic horns, that sort of thing. But the ancestry gets so diluted so quickly that like the power of the blood is almost negligible in most tieflings these days. But you would recognise that some of the ones with wings are probably much purer than the ones that are not. Like any tiefling with the active power of light is maybe like a quarter devil, if that, usually more. But you can see a lot of people in the city just going about their daily business. You can see, again, a lot of undead, a lot of that vibe of the dreary, drizzly atmosphere, and people keeping their head down and not paying attention to anything going on around them. But you're not sure why. It's less not paying attention and more actively trying to not draw attention.
What rules you might say?
You could try.
So I'm gonna turn to Neil and Sora and go, "Psst. These guys.
Stage whisper, please.
Wow.
You have to be speaking loud.
Oh, you're right, sorry.
Guys, no one's watching their pockets. Steely, shiny metal.
Hey guys. Hey guys.
I mean, don't.
Why?
Because the last time that happened, we were run out of a city.
No,
That's a lie.
that never happened.
That's a lie.
Nito just takes a long sigh and looks.
Yeah, Nito. My goodness.
Oh god. I mean, if you're gonna do it, at least do it well and be free about it. It's not permission, but.
I'll take
Yeah.
that permission.
Okay.
I'm gonna very stealthily, if I can, steal.
Do you try? What do you want to target? Are you looking for someone in particular? Are you just going and picking a random target?
I'm going to find random targets.
Cool.
One preferably
It's.
targets. Ones that
Oh,
don't have their hands in their pockets, have big floats if possible, so that we don't feel for the battle.
This is sort of a government area. There's no one in like travelers' cloaks, so this is more.
Government money.
Well, that's what. First of all, that does government employees does not mean rich. It means that the government might have money.
so
Like your average clerk is not going to be a millionaire, but if you're going to pickpocket on accident the president, maybe he'll have money.
Can I roll up pickpocket president?
He's not here. There's no luck check.
No.
You know that you recognise just from looking around. There's no one so important that the world would end if you pickpocketed them here.
Oh, I will still pickpocket the commerce.
Cool. roll me a perception check and a sleight of hand check. Perception to see if you spot anyone decent. Sleight of hand to see if you get.
That's a 19 for perception.
Okay,
For sleight of hand, 24.
24. So yeah, you successfully reach your hand in someone's pocket. As you're sort of scouting around, what are you prioritizing in your looking around? So you looking for someone with a traveler's cloak, but you don't really see anyone like that. There are people wearing suits, there are people wearing like regular work clothes. What are you sort of looking for?
I'm prioritizing people who are the most trying not to draw attention, but also dress the nicest.
Cool. Make me a luck check.
Okay, is that a D20?
We'll go for a D100.
Okay.
See how bad this can get.
How bad could it possibly be? 3.
You reach your hand in and you don't get a chance to look. You just reach your hand in, move it, pocket it, move on. Do you look on the street?
One is 3.
Cool.
Let's see, a frog or something.
Right in your inventory, mystery pickpocket. Sure.
I should try.
No issues. You
Can I try and get
you can't on a nat 20. You don't.
Can I?
If you, I tell you what, you have to roll 2d20, and if they're both 20s, then you can spot it. You have to beat a nat 20 with 2 20s.
It's also I also have a +3, so it's a 23.
I believe I can get good points. You gotta believe in the luck of the dice.
No.
No. Not to even add up to 120.
That's fair because, like, a nat 20 on sleight of hand, it just has to beat your passive perception because you as a character aren't aware you're being pickpocketed.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, it just happens.
I hope I pickpocketed a bomb and you just pickpocketed for me.
You reach in, you put it in your pocket, and then you walk along. Do you check what you got, or do you just keep
We'll
on?
try and discreetly check what I've got.
As you like feel around in your pocket, make me a wisdom saving throw to see if you can keep your
You're gonna let me keep it.
to see if you can keep your cool.
Flash it. 14.
14. On your 3 luck check, this is alchemical ingredients. You have a pocket full of frog hearts.
It was frogs!
So you tell me if you think a 13 is enough to keep your cool as you reach in your pocket and just feel this squelchy, bloody, horrible mass.
I mean,
You felt worse.
yeah, as a character, I'm not overly like
Fussed.
fussed about blood and
But you
gore.
have just
I'm-
pocketed it.
Yeah.
So your jacket is gonna stink for a while unless you get this clear.
I'm unhappy about it.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll have like a visceral reaction. to
No.
it.
I think that's fair. If you had rolled in that one, it would have been like a surprised, fucking why? Like, no, you're not incapable of dealing with it, but on such a terrible luck check,
It's just like
you
a
got an
long,
alchemical ingredient.
just like a long like through the nose, just sigh. Just.
Yeah.
Of course.
Pocket full of frog hearts. You can add that to your inventory.
Right. Is there like a rule to tell like if I were to know why people are being so strange?
Sure, make me a general insight check.
Oh, 20.
20. You're familiar with societies built on secrecy. Like, the Drow are similar in some ways to this city. You would guess that there is an oppressive relationship with the government. This has gone off again. Get fucked, my guy.
Delightful.
Okay, well, we'll wrap stuff up with you just being audio. Let's just wrap this up
Come on.
because we've got like 5 minutes left anyway. Yeah, so you're familiar with like oppressive governments, and you're getting the vibe that maybe not that there is an active police force, because that's something that you've not seen so far. I will remind you, at no point have you ever seen any guards, any sort of official government buildings, other than this big skull. Like, for a city that's so not policed, for you to also have the kind of relationship that people are having with it, and that you're needing to have a friend to get in, needing to not really share secrets about it. No one really knows what's going on in here. Like, to have that kind of actual control with no visible presence speaks to a level of control that is invasive. Like, you would guess that the general population are past the point of trying to overthrow the government or trying to deal with the oppression that's going on, and are just dealing with it because it's easier than the alternative. You definitely get the sense of a society that is not willing to go out and help their neighbours, help or get to know anyone or deal with their friends, because it's just easier to get your head down and work. So, as you guys are approaching the building, you can see that there is, again, no guards. Heavily defensible positions in the government. No guards. No one manning the stations. You just waltz right in. No receptionist. No nothing. You can see that there is a couple of boards across the side of the wall. Some of them are public notices. Some of them are like dates of public holidays. There are sort of the things that a receptionist would be used for is just sort of written on the board and left there. You can also see there's a section which is help wanted, and it's just rows and rows of people with, it's just a noble house, bodyguard wanted, and then a daily rate. Or it'll be like a family name or a shop name, and then it'll be like general labour and then a name. That sort of thing. Like just a job board for people looking to do stuff. There are things on there like reanimator is a job title that comes up quite a lot. Some people being like, someone needs to renew all the undead things around here. There's also arcanist comes up quite a lot, just anyone that knows general wizard stuff, which you can claim to know. But a really common one is bodyguard, and it looks to be a sort of average daily rate of about 25 gold. But there are a couple in there that's like 50 gold.
I'm taking a note of all of the ones that say 50 gold.
Cool.
I'm gonna look for that single highest paid job there.
There's a job there that is for a reanimator for a yearly salary of 30,000 gold pieces.
Yearly does not sound like that's kind of thing.
You notice that it's a company name rather than it's like a shipping company name.
Yep. Oh, what I thought was right. I think that obviously they're telling people to get volunteer, but I think they're shipping them in for their places as well.
Ooh. I think I...
Could be.
One way to get rid of corpses.
Yeah. I feel like there's so many bodyguard letters. Yeah. Then they're like, there's a cult that's murdering people.
What if the police are ghosts?
Yeah, they're all in there.
Exactly.
Taking out all the places to go on to then a couple of the other ones.
Wonderful. You just take a random selection. Roll a little luck check and I'll write some letters for next session.
But you don't think that single 50 gold.
Cool. And then we'll wrap for here. Hope you enjoyed today's session.
It was so good. I love making Stan fight.
Cool.
And what?
I love seeing this guy with them.